What's up, everybody? It is time to make up your mind with me, Mandy, and we have Justine Divanna.
Hello, everybody.
Today this is my guest for the day. Okay,
I'm so excited to be here.
I know I'm really excited too. I just feel like it's gonna be a conversation that we used to have like when we lived together. We used to be roommates.
We did roommates for what, like a year and a half?
A year and a half. It was like 2019 going into like November of 2020.
It's crazy how time flies.
I know.
It's insane.
Now that I think about it, like the pandemic, like we're in our third year.
Oh my God. I always forget that. I can't believe it's going to be 3 years.
Yeah. We're thriving, baby. We're thriving.
Seriously.
But yeah, back to you, Justine. I wanted to introduce who you are and what you do. So you are a professional makeup artist and hairstylist. You also do microblading eyebrows. You also do lip hyaluronic acid injections. She did them.
I did her lips.
And you also are a red carpet host. You do all kinds of different hosting. And I would like you to tell our listeners and viewers your most recent venture with Tickety Talkety.
With Tickety Talkety. Well, so I've actually been doing social media for a long time. I would say this was before TikTok though. So Instagram and YouTube for about 5 years, kind of on and off, never really consistent. But then TikTok came around, and I feel like TikTok really has given a chance and an opportunity for people that maybe had a hard time growing and they didn't start out way earlier in the industry. And I uploaded a video just talking about how like dudes have no idea what no makeup is because they have no idea what no makeup is. It's like a topic that makes me so
gonna get into
angry.
We're gonna get into it.
And it just blew up. It was like a couple part series and people really just enjoyed it. And so from there, I just really started building my audience and just really working at it. And that happened in about August. So, hard work definitely does pay off because it did not happen overnight.
I want to stop you there. I know it did. And I've seen you go through all this.
Yeah.
But our listeners don't know, and that's why you're here. So you started really pushing that, like August, it was like whatever. And then it took off. And then how many followers did you have on TikTok when you first started this whole little...
So when, before the video went viral,
yeah.
I was at 4,000.
And then you're now at?
I'm at almost 78K.
Okay.
So yeah, it's built up. It's hard because a lot of people will say the same thing. TikTok growth, it's like, and then it can plateau, and then it can go down. It can be like,
That's with anything, I feel like.
It's with anything. And so it's just like, it's an interesting industry. So that's why I do TikTok, I do my social media, but I'm not just like an internet personality. I like to do my makeup. I like to be creative. I like to do my microblading and just do all beauty stuff. That's what you know how it is being a makeup artist, being creative. It's like I can't just sit in front of my camera all day, every day, and that's all I do. I have to get out. I have to be creative and do my craft and do what I went to school for.
Totally. I love that. And so that video that went viral, could you kind of give us a little, like, could you guide us along, like, why you did that, how it came about, and how it went viral, and where it's brought you to now?
Well, it's really funny because my best friend that's off camera right now, she is the one.
She's right here.
She's literally right here. Her name is Madeline.
Shout out.
She is the one that was basically like long story short, not word for word. She just basically was like, you just have to be yourself because nobody's going to believe what you're saying if you are hosty, because I have a hosting background.
Yeah.
So I just naturally am very like, hey guys, I just want to show you exactly how to get this color lip. Like naturally I do that. And she's like, you just got to be yourself. And so it popped up like online and I was like, dudes have no idea what no makeup is. And it was just pictures of celebrities that had really like makeup and guys being like, whoa, Kylie Jenner looks so naturally beautiful. And I was like, you know what? This is great. It has to do with my brand, has to do with makeup. And I'm just going to go off and genuinely get pissed off the way I would in real life. And I just think it resonated. And I always say the number one thing when it comes to social media is be yourself. And it sounds so cliche and superficial
really
because everyone would say that. And I'm like, I am being myself, but I really wasn't until I just let go and was like,
I know, when I saw that video, I was like, that's her like on the daily basis. Like, these are our conversations we have off camera. And so for her to have it on camera, I was like, she's genuinely just being herself. And I think that's why it took off.
And you know, there's gonna be people that are like, you're so loud. Like I've had people be like, you're so loud. You're fake.
Cool. Comment and give me more engagement.
No, first of all, yes, because that's exactly what happens. Because you're getting engagement, even if it's something negative. And I'm like, well, this is actually me. I'm not like pretending like to do this just to get views. Like I was just doing it for so long without really any traction that when I made that video, I did not expect it to go viral at all. I just was
How many views did it get? Like, how did it go viral? Like
that one got almost 1 million, and then the series got almost 1 million, and then after that I got a couple million views on different type of videos. But those are the ones that really kickstarted my TikTok career. How do you say that?
So weird.
I don't even know how to say that.
So take me down why you feel the way you feel behind these videos.
So anybody that knows me knows when it comes to men, I get very, very heated.
No.
I get so heated because so
here we go.
Men don't just piss me off when it comes to makeup though. So that's the thing. When it came to my brand, I was like, my brand is makeup, so I'm gonna incorporate I don't want to say hatred for men, that sounds really dramatic.
Yeah, we're not saying that here. We're all inclusive here. We love everyone.
I love everyone.
We just have opinions.
Yes. My frustration with men.
Yes.
How about that?
Great word.
My frustration with men does not just stem from makeup. It stems from everything. So that's why right now I'm really all about women empowerment, and that's why with my channel now I'm starting to incorporate stuff that has to do with men and women, relationships and stuff, but it doesn't just have to do with makeup.
Okay.
I've just never been a good dater. I've never had good experiences, so I think that's maybe tainted my view on men and my anger toward them. Okay. So that's why when I do these videos, like I just genuinely like to roast them because I'm like, you know what? Instead of being pissed off at them, why don't I just roast them and make it fun? So that's kind of was my background on it.
Okay, and what are some of the comments that you get from men out there, and how do you deal with it?
So it's really funny because on TikTok, most of the comments I get are from females. I actually don't get a lot of men commenting back negatively. It's mostly female. My audience is about 3% male and the rest female. Like it's genuinely a lot. Yeah. But when I post the same videos on Instagram, I notice all the guys attacking me. It's crazy. It's different with social media, with different social media platforms. So I post on TikTok. I also post on the app Likey. All females, all you go girl, like hyping me up, loving what I'm saying, agreeing with what I'm doing. Instagram, guys, attack me. It's actually really crazy.
And that doesn't affect you at all. I know it doesn't.
No, it absolutely, honestly, it doesn't. It used to. I'm not going to lie. Like, I used to care what everybody thought so much.
Let's dive into there.
Okay, let's dive into...
Mandy
knows all about how I've changed my life. I read a book that literally changed my entire life.
But let's talk about before. So, so growing up, let's start there. Let's talk about your family life, how that's affected you to now, and then when we met, and then we'll go off.
I'm like an open book. I could go on forever and ever. So that's why
it's going to be a long episode, kids.
No, let me just get my mind and like make it a little bit shorter. But yeah, so I grew up with a single mom and me and my sister. My dad wasn't around. I'm very, very open about this stuff. The whole podcast is about mental health. So my dad suffered, he was never fully diagnosed, but he was manic depressive, bipolar, possibly schizophrenic. Not exactly sure.
Right.
And so, that was a lot to deal with. So I've dealt with mental illness issues with my family. I mean, literally since the day I was born. And obviously a lot of stuff is hereditary. So I've struggled with clinical depression my entire life. So I know that, that could have been passed on and, whatever.
Genetically, what happened?
Genetically, yeah, which is fine. I used to be upset about it and care until my mom, she's worked in psychiatry. Like she's been a receptionist for a psychiatrist for my entire life, for literally 30 years. So she was always very helpful. I always had someone on my side she's always like, don't feel bad about having a mental illness or having to take medication or whatever you choose to do. Don't feel bad about it because everybody deals with it, even if it's in silence. Totally, that's why I really love your podcast, that it's opening it up, because a lot of people don't talk about it, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. Why? I'll tell you right now, because of where I'm at now. It doesn't define you. It really doesn't. Like,
I want this podcast, just so everybody knows, well, you said this right now, like, I want this podcast to be of, like, an outlet for people.
Yeah.
So, like, say people can't afford mental health, they can come listen to my podcast or watch the YouTube video, what have you. You know what I mean? I want to be an outlet to help people. So I love that you said that.
Yeah, no, that's why I absolutely love this podcast. And I just feel like it's really important for people to be open and honest about it, because a lot of people suffer in silence because they feel ashamed. And I've just, like I said in the beginning, I was ashamed when I was young, but then my mom, I grew up, her telling me not to be and having that positive force has made me be like, I'll tell anybody, I don't care. Just because I'm not ashamed of it. It's who I am, and it's made me the person that I am today. And I just don't have any, like, regrets.
And also, like, being able to connect with people about it, like, talk about it. So, like, our conversation could be helping somebody right now. It's like, rather than, like you said, suffering in silence, you're just going to continue to stay in that shell and, you know, like, who knows, have suicidal thoughts or harm yourself with drugs or you what have you. You know what I mean? Everybody picks a different outlet. But for you chose, like, the therapy route, right?
So I've like was in therapy in and out my entire life. I honestly didn't really connect with anyone. That's not really what made a difference. Honestly, just having a really good support group really helped. Like, if I didn't have my mom and sister and my friends and my family that genuinely were there to support me, I really don't know how it would have turned out, to be honest with you. Not really, like, it's not that I'm against therapy. I think it really works for some people. Just for me, I just never clicked with the right person. I was always in and out of therapy.
You're talking in regards to a therapist.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I talked about this in one of my previous episodes with one of my guests. It's really important to find, it's like dating. It's like you have to find that therapist that you connect with and that you feel comfortable enough to let your guard down. I know you and we can talk to anybody about this, but not everybody can talk to even anybody, let alone a therapist, somebody they don't even know. Yeah. You know what I mean? Exactly. So again, that, like, turns people off to the whole therapy thing. And, you know, I got lucky my first time doing therapy. I loved my therapist, and, you know, meeting Justine, we met at AfterBuzz TV. We both did hosting. So AfterBuzz TV is Maria Munoz's network. And we do after show talks or whatever, what have you, on, like, reality television, movies, all that jazz. So Justine and I actually met there, and we were both going through a breakup. And we both needed a place to live. Yep. And we just started talking, and then we found a place to live. And mind you, Justine and we knew each other for like 10 minutes.
No, literally 10 minutes. I'm
maybe like 5 or 10 minutes. Yeah. And I was like, me too. Oh my God. It was like our lives just, like, were mirroring each other, and, like, we're like, let's do this. And I'll be 100% honest with you. I did not think that you were going to reach out. I didn't think anything, whatever. And then I remember you texted me and you were like, really? Hey, it's me, Justine from AfterBuzz. Me and my best friend Dynasty are looking for a place. And I'm like, oh my God, like, she's really going through with it. And I'm not going to lie, I was scared shitless. I was like, oh my God, like, this is it, Amanda. Like, you're going to be moving to LA. Like, oh my God. You know, but I, like, jumped on that.
You weren't in LA
I was in Orange County. I jumped on that opportunity like there was no fucking tomorrow. And I was like, let's go. And then I actually found the apartment that we moved into. You guys toured it. Well, I was out of town doing hair and makeup. I moved into an apartment I hadn't even seen. And then, like, moved in, and then we were there together. And then our other roommate was a therapist. This is so meant to be. Look at this. Our other roommate, Dynasty, shout out, was a therapist. And then you had been in therapy, and you had, you know, opened up, you know, to me about suffering, like, with your mental health and all that jazz. I was an anxiety attack, living anxiety attack. Like, literally, that was me.
You definitely were.
Because I mean, I was diagnosed
with no judgment, you know.
No, I know. Like, I was diagnosed with ADHD when I was a kid. I literally, like, had my own desk. I talked so much that they literally took me away from the class and gave me my own desk to separate me from people.
I used to get that too.
And so, yeah, so I always, like, I always thought I was too much. I'm too loud. I'm too honest.
You sound like me.
Yeah, I don't fit in. I just want to love everybody. Why can't everybody think like me? You know, and it took a huge toll on me, especially in regards to, like, toxic relationships and stuff. We can get into that if we have time. But, like, dealing with all of that over the years and never seeking therapy, never seeking medication, what have you, which medication's great. You don't have to be on medication. You can heal yourself naturally, spiritually, all of that, which I have done. But you were actually the one, you were on, this is how you can tell when somebody's a real friend. Justine was also a roommate too. But I will never forget the day where Justine's like, Mandy, like, I gotta talk to you. I think it was just you. I don't even think it was Dynasty. But I remember I went to the bedroom and you were like, hey, like, you gotta do something about this. Like, it's affecting me. I remember you told me that.
I think I remember.
And I felt like shit. No,
that.
I'm not going to lie. I felt like shit, but I was like, whoa. Like, I am affecting other people. And I remember you were like,
but I genuinely cared about
I know, but
you.
You were like, man,
and watching this happen.
I was like, I could barely function, you guys. Like, this was literally 2020.
Yeah.
Like, I could barely function.
Yeah.
I could barely function. And she was just like, Mandy, you should really think about it. And so I reached out to a therapist. I got on Zoloft, antidepressant, all that jazz, also for anxiety attacks. And I just want to say, like, I owe part of my spiritual journey to you.
Oh my God.
No, but it's like I wouldn't have this podcast.
Wait, I owe mine to you too, though, because, I mean, I don't know if you want to get into that now.
What?
That Mandy was on a podcast and you invited me because you're like, I really want you there. Like, you had a feeling, right?
Oh my God.
Mandy wanted me there.
So so just kind of fast forwarding a little bit, guys, not trying to jump all over the place here, but all of this like coincides. So basically what happened with Justine and I, like, I would not have this podcast today if I had never went on my mental health spiritual journey, like ever. Like, this would not be here right now. Yeah. So I just want to say thank you for that, for being a real friend, because most people would be like, oh, I don't want to hurt her feelings, whatever. But you and I, we lived together.
And we're very similar in a lot of ways.
We are so similar, so we feed off each other. So, like, when she's depressed, I'm depressed. When I'm excited, she's excited. Like, genuinely, that's how Justine and I are. I don't know how or why, but we're very similar in a lot of aspects, and we feed off each other. So, like, the energy's, like, really intense when it's intense, and then it's really fun when it's fun, and it can just be, I think it's safe to say it could be too much.
Yeah.
Honestly. So she was like, yeah, do this, do that, work on yourself. So I did. And then recently I was on Flashbacks, shout out to Jessica Hall. I was on her podcast. And for some reason, the day before, I was like, can I bring somebody? So I asked them, they said, yeah. And I was like, hey, like, for some reason, something just said, bring Justine. I don't know why. I can't tell you what it is, so intuition, whatever, but I brought Justine. We ended up meeting some other entertainment people and guests in the lobby while we were waiting for, you know, myself and the other to be interviewed. And you ended up meeting a gentleman, and you stayed in touch.
Yeah.
And then you can take it from here.
Yeah, we stayed in touch. We hung out, and it was absolutely not what I was expecting. So I am not religious. I'm just not a religious person.
She was never like that from whenever I knew her. I gave you my Bible. I would even tell you, like, read the Bible.
Yeah.
Like, I would, and you were just like,
But I'm not religious. I still do not consider myself religious. I still consider myself spiritual. But when this guy came over, we were just, like, hanging out, and I didn't expect to start talking. Like, we literally were just going to hang out as friends. Like, there was nothing. All I thought was, I'm hanging out with this cute guy.
You guys just vibed. Yeah, you guys just vibed.
I was like, I'm just hanging out with this cute guy. And then we just started talking about, you know, I since I'm not religious, I'm very open to hearing, like, everybody else's opinions and views. So I wanted to hear what he had to say. And he recommended a book. And I said, you know, the religious aspect is hard for me, but spiritual-wise, I really want to gain that. My mom's very spiritual. And he told me to read this book called Imagine Heaven, which I actually gave Mandy to read.
Yeah, I'm going to read that next.
And it changed my life.
What's it called again, babe?
Imagine Heaven. So it's all near-death experiences. And why it changed my life, the difference is people could say, you know, you say read the Bible, right? I'm going to be honest. That just didn't really do it for me because I'm the person that needs to see or hear to believe.
Factual. Yeah.
So by hearing these near-death experience encounters and really showing that there is life after life, you know, no matter what you believe, it's just a spiritual aspect. It really, really helped be like, wow, these stories, you can't make up some of these stories that are in this book. Therefore, how can I not believe? And it just literally changed my entire outlook on life. And everything changed from the second that I've
So what
read
changed?
This book.
Could you share that with us? Like, from how you were feeling before to how you feel now or whatever?
Yeah, and it sounds so cliche, but not, like, things don't matter as much. And, like, I know this is very, like, my mom's like, it's very extreme, just seeing the way you are. And I'm like, it's the only way that I can really, like, register things. I always say at the end of the day, we're all going to leave this earth. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, we're all going to leave this earth and we are going to be judged based on the
what we left
good
here.
things the good things that we did. And we're not, like, in the life reviews and stuff. This is just, like, a little part of the book. In the life reviews, they talk about how you're judged not based on, the promotion you got or you're famous or this. Nobody cares how you treat people.
How you make people feel.
Yes, is what matters. And so I'm like, why am I sitting here, like, obsessing over TikTok or obsessing over views and followers when at the end of the day, none of this matters? And not in a bad way. I'm using it still is a creative outlet, but I'm not letting it be my life anymore, if that makes any sense.
No, totally. Like, you're not letting, like, the views and numbers control it, but you're
really
still doing
not.
what you want. Because I feel like it's how you treat people, but it's also, like, what you leave behind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
Exactly.
for instance, like, what would you want to leave behind?
I mean, and I'm
like,
gonna
what's most important for you?
Honestly, in the past, before I really started, this, is it a spiritual journey? I mean, it is.
Or finding yourself.
Yeah, before that, I cared what people thought. Like, oh, I want to get big on social media because I want to prove to all the people that were mean to me and bullied me in high school, like, I want to prove to them and my family that I didn't think believed in me. I just was like, I want to prove them all wrong. I want to prove to them that I am great, that I am worth something. I was literally doing it to prove to everybody else. And the second that I read this book and really started changing my life, I'm like, why do I even care what any of these people think? So the second I stopped caring about what these people thought, I'm like, I don't care about doing this for anybody else but me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it sounds cliche, and like, if I heard someone talk about this a year ago, I'd be like, oh yeah, okay, whatever.
But cliche,
it's true.
Cliche like stands like the time. Like, it goes through time. So obviously it's cliche for a reason because it's working. So I'm saying it through all this time, people are still saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Do it for yourself. Like, you do it self-love, all that.
Self-love.
Yeah.
It's so important because, like, I've talked to you about just, like, growing up and the way you, circling back to you saying you always felt like you were too much. I
never felt like I fit in.
I've never felt like I fit in. I always felt like I was, like, the joke friend, or I was too loud, and I was the one that everyone made fun of, and I was never the friend that guys liked because I was too much. I was too intense. I was never just the cool girl that's like, hey, go with the flow. I'm like, yeah, like, I'm, like, loud, and it's like, ooh, too much. So I always felt so bad about myself, and that's kind of not just with friends and proving people wrong, going into the guy aspect, bringing in men and my past trauma with relationships and why I have such a bitter, which I'm working on with my new spiritual journey, but why I've had for so long such this, like, bitter resentfulness toward guys because of my past and being treated like I didn't matter.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about, like, your experiences with men and why you felt that way.
I mean, going back to growing up, I always felt like I was the friend that nobody liked, and if they did, I was being used.
Oh.
So it was never like, oh, I want to date Justine. Like, oh yeah, like, out of all my friends, if it was like to choose who, it would never be to date, maybe to hook up with me, but that's it. So it's like, you look back, and I've had people be like, oh, but, like, you always were talking to guys, and I'm like, all they wanted was one thing from me. None of them wanted to date me. Nothing ever worked. They just looked at me for one reason, and maybe I was a part of that, I used to party a lot.
Not knowing your self-worth?
Not knowing my self-worth, going for guys that, I have to look at myself as much as I can put all the blame on men and, they were mean to me. I have to take at least 50%.
Sort of accountability.
At least half responsibility because I was choosing these guys.
Yeah.
I chose them, but when you are not the best version of yourself, think about it. If you're the best version of yourself, energy exudes energy.
And clear sight.
Exactly. And if you're giving off a positive energy, you're going to get that in return. And if you're not, and you're mad and you're bitter and you're upset, you're going to get a guy like that because you're going to attract what you're putting out.
I always say, like, we're mirroring people. So whoever we meet, it's a mirror of ourselves. It's a reflection of ourselves.
Yeah. If you were to hear, can you imagine me saying this, like, a year ago?
No.
Do you know what I'm saying?
This is a crazy
me talking about energy and giving you
it's
so not like who I used to be.
I know, like, seeing you now and then, like, thinking about the apartment, it's just like.
And I was like this before, like, I started doing really well on TikTok, right? A lot of people think that when things start going well for you is when you feel better. And I'm like, no. I've been feeling this way since
I feel like TikTok took off because you felt better. It's actually the reverse.
Not even kidding you. When I cut 2 toxic guys out of my life, who one of them is, I am not kidding you when I say within that same week, because I remember this was August, my TikTok blew up. The second I cut the toxic people off and I go, you know what, I need to work on myself.
Like you put the energy that you're putting into that into yourself and your TikTok, and then TikTok, tick, boom.
Ticky boom. No, seriously, it's insane how things go. Like it really is. Like everything correlates. Does that make sense?
Everything correlates. Yeah. Everything corresponds. Okay, so talking about like bullying, I heard you say that you were like, bullied in school and things like that. Well, what did people bully you for, and how did you get through that?
So the thing is, when people hear bullying, I know that like a lot of people can relate. They'll say, "Oh, but like you weren't shoved into a locker," like that kind of bullying. Like
those are the standards.
But you know what I mean? How there's a lot of people that think like, "Oh, like you're walking down the hall and they're like in movies
pushing." That's what you see in movies.
That didn't happen to me. Mine was more, and this was God. Can you imagine if social media was big in high school? This was before social media was even big. It was a lot through MySpace, like Facebook. A lot of like texting and a lot of people just talking shit behind my back. Like I'll never remember. It was there was a lot of these situations, but this one specific situation, I just went to high school and I was so excited to like meet new friends. I was like, oh my God, I was like, as much as I'm really outgoing at home, like I'm shy around people, like the popular people, or people that I felt intimidated by. And I'm like, oh, this is a brand new start, whatever. And I started talking to this girl that was a cheerleader. And I was like, whoa, I can't even believe she's talking to me, first of all. And we would pass notes back and forth. And then one day she just stopped talking to me. And I'm like, what's like going on? And she basically was like, just flat out told me, yeah, like all of the popular girls, or no, not popular girls, all of the cheerleaders were saying that you're like a loser and you're weird. Just named all this stuff about me.
Is her name Regina George?
Sounds like it, right? And she was like, so we like, I just can't be friends with you. That was the moment that I went to therapy. That is the moment that I had I'd gone to therapy when I was younger. That moment literally put me into a depression spiral because I was not on medication then. And it really triggered. It was when it triggered my depression to the point. Because it wasn't one person denying me or telling me that I wasn't good enough. I was told that an entire group of people that basically ran the freaking grade didn't like me because for no reason, but they just thought I was weird. No, literally, like, so I didn't feel good about myself. I was like, well, I'm weird. Nobody likes me anyway. And so I had no self-confidence at all.
What would you tell kids these days right now going through something like this with social media? Like, what advice would you give them?
Well, especially, like, all I want to say is your school years, middle school, high school, does not define you at all. It means nothing. There's people that are like, oh, I miss high school. I would, if someone paid me, I would go back. I would never. You couldn't pay me any money to go relive that time of my life. It was like I had great times, but it was the worst time of my life because I would never choose to be a kid when I can be an adult now, and a lot of people miss being a kid. No. I didn't know how to handle anything as a kid. So giving advice, I would say it sounds easier said than done, but like I swear it doesn't matter. It doesn't define you. You don't even have a job, like a real career yet. So I didn't even know who I was before my career, I started in high school doing cosmetology when I was like, oh, this is like really where I want to go. Yeah. And I remember when I started cosmetology, I was like, I'm going to make something of myself. I'm going to do makeup for the stars. Like, literally, that is the first thing that I said to myself. I was like, I'm going to get out of here and I'm going to make a name for myself. And I found my identity when I started doing makeup and really working in my career. So, like, being a kid, you have no idea what your life is to bring you. You have no idea. So, you may be upset because people are bullying you or you feel like crap because of something going on in your life, but all you have going on in your life is school, after school programs, your sports, like you don't have anything else. So you're just submerged in all the high school drama.
So what would you say to them? Like focus on what you want to do?
Yeah, I would say focus on what you want to do.
How do you stay being a kid and focus on what you want to do in the future? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's hard. Basically,
there's no wrong or right answer, Justine.
No, yeah.
This is just your opinion.
I just think, I'm thinking of it. I think that, don't be like, I'm not saying that you're 14 and you have to know what you want to do for the rest of your life, but start to figure out what you like to do and really just start working on that. Like, say that you're someone that wants to be a lawyer one day. Obviously, when you're like 14, that's not really like anything that can happen.
Yeah.
But keep that in mind. Like, keep your goal in mind in the back of your head and tell yourself literally out loud, this doesn't matter. Like, high school is going to end. I am more than my identity in school. Like, seriously.
So true.
I am more than my identity in school, and I have so much more that I have to live for.
And it's crazy because I feel like a lot of, at least for me, like I can relate to some things that you're saying. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I was in the popular crowd. I was in multiple popular crowds, but I felt like I was never like I never fit into those. Like, like a loose puzzle piece or something. Like, I hung out with them, but I wasn't a part of them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I just feel like a lot of the people that I look back at now that like were like that in high school, like I have to be careful with what I'm saying right now. I just feel like a lot of people stayed in their hometown.
Yeah.
And stayed in the secure, safe place, not risk-taking type thing. And it's like, I just feel like when you hear these stories of the people that were bullied or what have you, and then they grow up to be something and influential in whatever industry, you know, hopefully in the world, it's like, that is so cool. You know what I mean? Because we endured so much like negativity and pain and everything, and we still chose to go after what we wanted to do. And like everything that I do, you know, I want to help people.
Yeah.
And I feel like you're helping people.
Yeah.
Did that make sense, guys?
No, it makes so much sense. And that was...
I'm kind of just talking, you know?
No, honestly, and that was just the beginning. That girl was just the beginning. After that, I have had a core group of friends that I have had literally since 6th grade. So I have that core group of friends that literally stuck by me no matter what through my, not gonna lie, I had some bad drinking days. I had my depressive, manic days. They stuck by me, but there was a lot of people that just didn't want to handle me or be with me. Like, whether it was friends, whether it was guys. So throughout that time, you know, I'd have friends that would just stop being my friend and then blast me through social media. I had one girl just literally blast me all over Facebook, just like saying so many horrible things about me, just blasting me, and people commenting, and the girls in that same group commenting like, yeah, I fucking hate her. It was just...
To me, that's so crazy.
That was just one other time. Like, this has happened a lot. There's been a lot of instances.
Literally like Mean Girls.
Yeah.
Like, literally,
I had
like
a girl
Mean
calling
Girls.
me that wouldn't leave me alone, was going to come to my house, stalk me, fight me. I had my house egged. Like, literally. I had this one girl that wanted to... Madeline, my best friend over there, had to stand in front of her one time, like, in school, because she hated me because I kissed her boyfriend that I didn't know was her boyfriend because they had broken up a while ago. But how am I supposed to know this? Don't get mad at me. And from that, for about 2 years, she would harass me. And, like, I can't fight. She was scary. She was on drugs. Like, she was a scary person. I was petrified of this girl. Like, I wouldn't go to school. Like, I was so scared of her for, like, a couple years.
It's crazy because I wonder where she's at today, and I guarantee you, like, those people were...
Yeah, she's not doing shit,
those
I'm gonna be honest. I think, like, I checked, like, a while ago, because I'm like, whatever happened to that girl that used to bully the crap out of me?
This is why I love Justine. She's not doing shit. Okay. I just feel like, but people like that, like, are hurting. And they're going through stuff. Like, hurt people.
Yeah, and I can have compassion for her now. I was bitter for all the people that did me wrong. That's why I was like, I want to make it in the industry. I want to be known because I want people to know that I'm not worthless. I'm not a loser. I am worth it. And then when you realize it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks about you, it's like,
nobody
who
needs
cares?
to tell you that you're that you're worthless, that you're not.
Took me 30 years to figure this out, guys.
Yeah, we got to tell ourselves that. Mm-hmm. You know? So I don't know if there's Mel Robbins that I listen to. I love her. I think I've sent you some of her videos, what have you, but I absolutely love her. But she has this 5-second rule in bed. So it's like how to get out of bed. So she counts down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then she just gets out. It's like a rocket launch. So it's like subconsciously counting down makes you want to, like, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get up, right? So she most recently has the high five rule, where she looks in the mirror and she high fives herself. She high fives herself.
I love that.
And that psychologically, like, boosts you up and all that jazz. So me, I even before I heard that from Mel Robbins, right? Mm-hmm. Even before I heard that, I had always, like, counted down, like, working out, like, on my sets, like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, rather than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because when you count forwards, like, you're looking ahead and you're like, oh my God, I have 9 more to do. But when you count backwards, psychologically, you're like, I'm good. It's less. It's going to be less.
That makes so much
sense.
So
it makes it easier, right?
Yeah.
So I was thinking about all these things, and then I saw that she had a, like, 5-second rule, all that jazz, and the high five rule. Me, what I do is I tell myself that I love myself. I look at myself in the mirror and I tell myself that I love myself.
Because eventually, if you say it enough, you'll
start to believe it.
You know?
But not even that. It's like, we are literally all we have. And it's like, I do it in the bathroom because I feel like the bathroom is the room where we like break ourselves down the most. Because that's the first time you see yourself in the mirror. When you get up, you go to brush your teeth and you're like, oh my God, I look like shit. Like, oh my God, my bags. You know, you start like, this is stuff that Mel talks about. So it's like, I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to tell myself that I love myself. That way, I've already told myself, first thing in the beginning of the day, I looked in my eyes and I did it. And I don't need to get it from anybody else.
It's so
because
true.
I already told myself that I love myself.
Exactly. And when you, like I was saying before, when you love yourself, you can be the best version. I mean, this was about to go into guys, but I don't know if we even have time to talk about our relationships.
We do.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it all goes hand in hand, kind of like what you were saying about loving yourself. Like, I've had such toxic relationships because I wasn't okay with myself. Like,
but
really,
you know what that is? And I think that we can both relate to this, is we didn't have our purpose.
Yeah.
Because makeup literally saved my life. Like, makeup legitimately saved my life. The second that I dropped out of community college and decided to go to makeup school at 25, that's when everything changed. So
that was kind
25,
of like me.
I'm 35, so I've literally been in it for 10 years. So I feel like I found my purpose. Before, I was just kind of floating, like, what am I doing? Like, what am I going to be? I like work a 9 to 5. It was like, to me, it was always so unappealing. And I was just...
that's what I was like in high school. And I ended up, what happened was everybody it was a time when everyone's like, oh, so where are you going to go to college?
Yeah.
Where are you going to go to college? So my family was all about, like, not my mom, but the rest of my family, my uncles were very big on, are you going to go to college? Are you going to go to college? And it was when all my friends were, like, looking at colleges and getting accepted. And I am not book smart at all, to the point that I was really nervous because I was like, I don't think I can go and do any more school. I can't do any more tests. Like, I can't go to college. Like, it's just not for me. And then cosmetology, I went to cosmetology school for 2 years in high school, and I was like, this is what I want to do with my life. The beauty industry, I'm not going to college. I'm going to take my college money that I had saved, and I'm going to go to advanced hair and makeup school. So go to the college for what I want to do.
Oh, that's great.
And I never went to college, and I never felt bad about it. I went to my friend's college and pretended that I went to college there just for fun. Like,
what?
Not like literally, but like went to parties, and I just like I wouldn't actually lie, but in my head I'm like, these are my college years. But I felt so bad about myself because all my friends were smart and would go to college, and I was like, I don't think I'll make it through college. Like, genuinely, like, my brain does not work that way. I'm a creative person, and so I just decided to, like, go full creative.
Did you know that you always wanted to be in entertainment? Like,
always. When I was really little, I'll never forget, I went to get my hair cut. And I was literally
Fantastic
like
Sam's.
5.
I'm just kidding. I would get my hair cut at Fantastic Sam's.
What's that?
Fantastic Sam's is like a franchise of
like
Clipper. Yeah.
Yeah, so
but
we went
in the Inland Empire or whatever.
Yeah, so when my mom used to take me to get my hair cut, I was like, I want to do hair. Like, originally, like, I was like, I knew I liked hair and makeup. Like, I always loved that. And even, like, as I started getting older, my grandma, called her Gubby, she passed away, but she took every grandkid when they turned 13 anywhere they wanted in the world. Well, our parents limited us to the country.
Okay.
And I said, hands down, like, not even a question, I go, I want to go to where the stars are. I want to do makeup for the stars. Like, literally, So you
came to LA?
Yeah.
Because you grew up in New Jersey.
Yeah, I grew up in New
Jersey.
Jersey.
We forgot to mention that. She's from New Jersey. She says water.
Water. Water, yeah. So I'm from Jersey, but I went out to LA as anywhere I could choose, anywhere I wanted to go. And I was like, I'm going to do makeup for the stars. I'm going to do it one day. And then when that was 13. And then when I went to cosmetology school, I remember I always talk about how my teacher had a pie chart up on the board and was like, these are the things that you can do with in this cosmetology industry. And one was like, cut hair, do makeup, work at a cosmetic store, do makeup for the stars. And I will never forget, I saw that little pie chart that said makeup for the stars, and I go, that's what I'm gonna do. And then from there, it kind of evolved into me loving makeup and then incorporating that and doing TV hosting, which I love even more. So
yeah,
it all just like kind of came together, and I'm like, I used to get in trouble for talking in my loud voice, and people didn't want to be my friend.
Same.
And guys didn't want me, but it gets me jobs now.
Yeah, I know.
Doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, same here. That one desk by myself. Look I got my own desk by myself and my guest. So how about that, Mrs. Mathers, my second grade teacher?
Mrs. Mathers.
Oh my God, I can't believe I remembered that.
Yeah,
and I would always get like a yellow card. So there were like slots of like green, yellow, red, like of how your like your attitude or was during the day or what have you, like if you would get in trouble or not. And I was always on the fucking yellow card, man.
Always on the yellow card.
I was living on the edge. Yeah. And then I don't know. That's just it's so crazy to see, like, if you just set your mind, if you make up your mind, if you just set your mind to something, like how far it will take you. And it's like, it's crazy.
It's crazy. I feel like I could just talk about anything all day, every day. So I'm like, I don't even know how much time we have. I'm like, I could just keep going. Anything anyone wants to know, I'm an open book, but.
Well, no. So let's talk a little bit about, more about your TikTok and what your hopes are for that.
So kind of like I was saying, like when I was originally doing social media, I was doing it for all the wrong reasons and just wanting to prove to everybody that I was good enough. And then now that I know I'm good enough for myself, I genuinely am doing it for fun and to just inspire people. So now, instead of doing it to prove myself to other people, I'm doing it to give people somewhere they want to go. I love your videos. Like I love nothing more than, like, I'll have some people, I love your videos. I love coming to your page and watching it. It makes me happy. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, wow, I'm creating something that's entertaining to get people out of being upset. And maybe if they laugh a little, like, you know, if they're in a bad mood, you know, you can create to help people. And it doesn't have to be me doing like life tip kind of videos. It could just be me doing a stupid video bashing guys and people loving it. And that's helping someone get out of their bad mood. So that's really what I want to do it. I just want to do it for the love, and I want to do it for the love in all different ways. Okay,
awesome. And what are some of your projects that you have coming up that you're able to talk about that you would like to share with our listeners and viewers?
So as of right now, I actually you don't even know this, I just got offered to work with a company that's starting to work with content creators for Snapchat Spotlight. So you know Spotlight, it's basically, everyone's copying TikTok, you know, it's all short videos. So I'm working with them. I've recently in the past, I'd say, month, I was published. My videos got published on Yahoo and some really cool entertainment outlets. I also did a video. I also did a beauty segment on Miami local news channel. I saw
that. You went to Miami. Did it there?
So I did that, and I'm really working on.
She's focusing and working. We're coining a new word.
It hurts my head sometimes because I feel like I do so much that. Stay tuned. There's more to come. Some things, gotta keep hush hush, but
yeah, we got some things in the works.
I'm working, and I'm just gonna keep creating content every day and posting and hoping people love it.
I love that.
That's really genuinely what I want to do. And
amazing.
And I'm moving to Nashville, so I'm really excited about that. If anyone that's listening or knows in Nashville, I would love to do like a local Nashville station, a radio station. Like that would be so fun for me. That's something that I'm like a dream,
That'd be really cool. You got this.
Yes.
Can you tell everybody where to find you? If you can spell it out for the listeners as well.
Yes, you can find me everywhere at Justine Divanna. TikTok, it's a little underscore after the Justine Divanna, which pisses me off because I don't have access to my old account when it was Musical.ly. That's a whole other story. But basically, just look up Justine Divanna and you will find me.
And how do you spell that?
Justine Divanna.
That has a little
Justine Divanna.
I love that.
Find me, guys.
It sounds so fancy, right? Justine Divanna.
That's why I had this conversation the other day about changing your name. I know this is random, and I was like, I'm never changing my name. Maybe I'll hyphen it, but can you imagine
I'm keeping my last name
Justine Divanna Bob. What? Or not
Justine Divanna Bob.
Or Justine Bob. Or Justine, I know someone with the last name Hornberger. Can you imagine Justine Hornberger? I can't. That would be so horrifying.
Anybody's last name is Hornberger, I apologize. But
it's my mom's friend.
Okay,
so
cool.
I don't feel too bad. She won't see this. Maybe she will. I'm really sorry. I'm sorry if he does.
Oh my God, I love it. Thank you so much for being here.
Of course, I had such a good time. Genuinely, I'm so proud of my roomie bestie.
I feel like I still say roomie. I
love you.
I love you too. I
feel like
so
we're the Jersey Shore. They call each other roomies even though they're really close friends.
Yeah.
I feel like that's us.
Totally. And thank you so much for being here. I'm so happy to have you. And make sure everybody go follow Justine on all of her accounts. Check out her videos. They're very entertaining and very honest, which is why I love them. But yes, and I'm your host, Amanda Terry. I also go by Makeup Mandy, which is where you can find me on all platforms at makeup_Mandy, and that is with an I. Please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Make Up Your Mind Podcast. And we spell Make Up Your Mind a different way here, kids. It is makeup and then you are your mind. Our Instagram is makeupyourmind_podcast. Thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you next time. Love you.
Bye.